Welcome back to another Rogue Thursday. Today we're playing Mega Manectric, a card from Mega Evolutions that might not be the next top meta deck, but it is insanely fun and can absolutely blow games wide open. Now, this is the Mega Manectric list that I've been testing, and the game plan is very straightforward. You're looking to go second, and you're going to use Joltik to either power up your Iron Hands if you need it, or your Electrike, depending on the matchup. From there, you will evolve that Electrike into a Manectric and take control of the game. And you can do that in two different ways, either walling with its first attack, slowing down your opponent, or using its second attack to one-shot opposing Pokemon with a massive 330 damage swing. Now, there are a few key tech cards that really make this deck work, and that is Maximum Belt, which lets us one-shot Pokemon with 340 HP or more, Battle Cage, giving us protection against Munkidori and Dragapult spread damage, and then Levincia helps us power our Mega Manectrics back up after using its second attack. If you want to try the deck out for yourself, the full deck list is linked in the description below. With that said, let's get into game number one. Alright, so here's game number one, and we don't have that good of a start. Our opponent did win the coin flip, so they decided to go second, and luckily we do have this Miraidon. We do have an Iono that we can use next turn to redraw a better hand, hopefully. But at least with this Miraidon, we can get down a Electrike and get down a Tynamo. That way then we can actually go into Electros next turn before we do the Iono, giving us a higher chance of being able to hit. Or we can actually just use the Hilda, be able to find an energy from that along with the Mega Manectric, put that down and have that set up so that way then on the following turn we can do the Iono, hopefully hitting one energy. Now, it all depends on what our opponent is playing here. They did fire off that Arven, and now we should be seeing exactly what they're playing. They're going to take a little bit of time doing their searches with the Buddy-Buddy Poffin, and then we see that this is actually a Palafin deck. Here they also have the TM Evo, plus they put down a Surfing Beach as their stadium for turn, and this is going to get them into double Palafin. That way then they can start doing their little shenanigans next turn, going into their Palafin EXs. That way they can start doing a ton of damage fast. Now here we are going to put down that Electrike. We did top deck into an Ultra Ball. That could be nice, but we're just going to fire off this Iono. There's nothing else that we could really get. I could fire off this Hilda. Again, that does get us the Mega Manectric plus a Lightning Energy, which is real nice, but we don't really have anything else that we want to go into really. So here we are going to do the Miraidon first, trying to thin our deck a little bit. Find another copy of Tynamo, and then we could get down another Electrike if we want, or actually just get down the Joltik here, and then get down the Iron Hands. But the Iron Hands isn't very good here either. It's decent damage because they are going to be weak to Lightning, but we're only ever going to really do the first attack in that situation. The second attack's not going to come up, and we already have Mega Manectric. I do unfortunately go for the Iron Hands here, and looking back, that was a mistake. I should have just gotten a Tynamo or gotten another Electrike, and I am going to fire off this Hilda as well. I can put the Lightning Energy onto the Joltik. That way then next turn there is a chance that we can actually swing with that and be able to power up our Manectric. But what I could have done is just not even go for this Joltik play, just gotten the Tynamo and another Electrike, been able to put that Lightning Energy on my Mega Manectric, and then be able to do the Iono next turn, potentially hitting a Air Balloon or a copy of Switch. You know, finding other ways of being able to actually go into the Manectric to get the attack off. Now here they are going to start doing their Palafin EX swaps. That way then they can actually get into their Palafin EXs, and then that is going to be a massive tempo swing in their favor right now. We are still in the setup stage of the game, and we really shouldn't be here at this point. We should actually be the aggressor in this matchup. Now, our top deck is pretty nice. It's our Battle Cage, which the only reason it's nice is because it's a stadium bump right now. They don't really have any way of moving damage counters over, so we don't have to worry about that. And I go back and forth between should I just use Iono right now, or should I put down the stadium bump and get rid of their Surfing Beach. I decide let's get rid of their Surfing Beach and then Iono. We get into a better hand overall, and we are just going to go straight into the Joltik, and this is going to allow us to be able to power up our Mega Manectric, plus throw the Grass Energy onto our Iron Hands so we can slowly power that up at the same time. Now in here, that is the exact play that I'm going for. then it's their turn. They do have the Sneasel in the active, but it does have free retreat, and that's the reason why they're playing the Petron engine with it. Here they do fire off a Buddy-Buddy Poffin, getting a Tatsugiri so they can actually start searching for a supporter every turn, and they're just setting up another Palafin EX as well, in case we do knock out the two that are already on the bench. Now, and they are going to take their time really debating about if they want to go and start attacking here, because if they do start attacking, then we can easily counteract their attack by being able to attack with the Mega Manectric. So what they're going to do is they're going to fire off this boss's orders, bring up the Iron Hands, and then they will take a 2-prize knockout that way. So this way they are going to be even with us on the prize trade instead of them just taking out the Joltik, and it doesn't put any Lightning Energy into my discard either, so we can't use Electric to be able to get energy back onto our Pokemon. Here we are going to be firing off this Miraidon, get another copy of Tynamo plus the Zeraora that can snipe the bench, and then we will be attaching a Lightning Energy from our hand to our active Mega Manectric before firing off this Hilda to get another Electric and get a Lightning Energy as well. This lets me set up double Electric, that way then I can immediately power up the Zeraora on my bench. I also have a Lightning in hand to be able to do that, and that would allow me to be able to snipe their Petron EX if they do knock out my Mega Manectric in the next 2 turns. That way, we are guaranteed to win the game, and there's nothing that they can really do. They also put down a Fez here just to draw a couple extra cards. The only real disruption that they could do to our game plan right now is if they had Iono this turn, because then they could put us down to 4 cards, putting those other cards that we need onto the bottom of our deck. But luckily for us, they don't have an Iono right now. They are just going to take a little bit more time really thinking it through. They know that attack with the Palafin isn't really that great unless they can get another Palafin set up. That way then they can actually do a 2-turn knockout on it, and that's what they're trying to set up right here. Now, and they are going to take a little bit more time. They do at least get down the other Palafin before retreating and going into their Palafin EX to actually do a ton of damage. This does set them up for a knockout next turn where they can go down to just a single prize card remaining, but they didn't disrupt our hand, so we are going to get down this Electric, and then I am going to attach this Lightning Energy to the Zeraora, guaranteeing that we have game next turn. Now, and I am also going to put this Air Balloon on one of the Electrics. That way we actually have another free retreater, even though we do have a Joltik with a Lightning Energy on itself too, so we could have that as essentially a free retreater as well. Here from the prize cards, we do get a Switch and another Lightning Energy, so this is really nice too in case they do like a boss play to try to buy another turn by like bossing up our Miraidon or our Electric here. That way then we have the Switch to be able to get around that. Now, and here they are going to take some time really thinking through their plays, trying to figure out exactly how they need to navigate this turn. But this is a checkmate board state, so our opponent is going to retreat into the Palafin just to look through their deck real quick before conceding. Alright, so game number 2 is against a meta deck. So this is that Terrazard that is running around, and it's the one that's running the Wellspring. They do win the coin flip and they go first, which we prefer going second, but we would not like to go second in this matchup. Now, in here, they do get down their Fan Rotom, which then finds them their Noctowl plus a Pidgey and a Hoot Hoot, so they have everything ready and set up for next turn. So we have to be very smart about how we do this turn, and our hand isn't that great either. So we're going to fire off this Miraidon first. We're going to get down the Electrike, and then I'm debating about getting down a Joltik here, but we would have to use the Lilies and find specifically Air Balloon or Switch in order to be able to retreat our Electrike, and we don't want to try to risk that at this point. So instead, what I'm going to do is grab the Tynamo plus an Electrike. That way we can attach a Lightning Energy to our Electrike before firing off the Lily's Determination. It does get us into a second copy of Tynamo, which is very great here, and then we are just going to retreat this Electrike. And for a second here, I almost make a game-losing mistake by promoting up the Tynamo, because I start realizing, no, if I do that, then they have the opportunity of taking out both Tynamo, which would turn off our eels for this game, and I really don't want to do that. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw up the Miraidon. That way then they can only take a single prize this turn unless they go into like Rare Candy Pidgeot, plus like a Maximum Belt. That way then they can take the knockout. But because they are running the Wellspring, I'm pretty sure that their ace spec is the Sparkling Crystal, which it is, and I'm not too afraid of that play. Now in here, they also get down the Stadium because they already had a Dawn in their hand. This is going to allow them to slowly set up and guarantee that there's nothing that we can really do to fully disrupt their plays. That way then they're guaranteed to still have a Terra Pokemon next turn. Now in here, they do get another copy of Hoot Hoot plus a Pidgeotto, and they get that Charizard as well. They already have another copy of Charmander in their hand before playing down the Sparkling Crystal. Now they do have the Rare Candy to be able to go into that Charizard. This is going to allow them to be able to attach 3 Fire Energy this turn to their Pokemon, so it's going to be 1 to their Wellspring and then 2 to their Charizard, guaranteeing that they're going to be able to attack next turn with a Charizard if we take a knockout. Now in here, they do get rid of one of our Electrikes instead of our Tynamos, which is completely fine by me. We do have another copy of Electrike left in the deck that we can easily find. Here we do get down both of our Evolution Pokemon, and then we do use the Eel to be able to put a Lightning Energy onto our Mega Manectric. We do have a Lightning Energy in hand as well, and we do have this Levincia 2 that we can set down. That way then we get rid of their Stadium. They're just going to discard their Noctowl, but we're fine with that too because now they don't have any more spots on their bench, so we don't have to really worry about a lot of extra things, even though we are going to be taking 2 prizes this turn. Now in here, I am going to fire off the Miraidon. I'm looking to see exactly what I want to grab. I know that I'm grabbing this Electrike, and I could grab another copy of Tynamo if I want, but I think just having this one that's already on the bench is more than enough. I am going to fire off Arven, getting a copy of Nest Ball plus an Air Balloon. I could have grabbed the Electric Generator instead. I have a high chance of being able to hit a Lightning Energy off of that, and just hitting 1 energy would have been enough. That way then I would have 3 energy on the Mega Manectric. The chances of them taking a knockout on the Mega Manectric next turn is pretty much 0, so we don't really have to worry about that, but I want to be able to one-shot their Charizard. That way then if they do get down a Duskull, if they're playing that line in this Charizard list, then we don't have to worry about that. Now in here, they are going to start their turn off by firing off a copy of Dawn, and they're going to take their time real quick just to be able to look through their deck and see exactly what plays they want to do. Right here, we see that they are running the Dusknoir line. They also get a Charmeleon, so that way then they have a easier time of going into Charizard next turn, and they got that Pidgeot, so they get a free search every single turn too. Now, we're not running Watchtower, which is one of the downsides of this deck, so this does make this matchup way more difficult, and they have the extra punish of having that counter catcher too, which they searched off of the Pidgeot. That way then they can actually get rid of our Fez, going down to only 3 prizes remaining. Now then, this is pretty much a checkmate that they have me in. I would really need to find a Lightning Energy this turn in order to be able to knock out their Charizard and still have a chance. Otherwise, they could just go Rare Candy Dusknoir, attack with Charizard, take out our Mega Manectric, or if we retreat into anything, they can easily just go Rare Candy Dusknoir, pop our Miraidon, and then be able to attack whatever's there and be able to take the knockout. So they now have me in a checkmate board state. So I'm going to try to go into the only play that really is reasonable here, which is going into the Joltik. This way I can do Jolting Charge and be able to set up enough energy onto one Manectric and then be able to put another Lightning on the other. This also gets me the grass out of my deck too, so this thins my deck a little bit as well. And hopefully they don't have the Rare Candy Dusknoir play, otherwise they do win the game. Here they do start off with the Pidgeot, which is a bad sign for us. They are going to search out a card and then activate Rare Candy, so we just concede. So here are my final thoughts on Mega Manectric in the current format. I think this deck is a ton of fun, even if the meta isn't perfect for it right now, especially with Gholdengo being so popular. That said, if you're looking for a break from Joltik Box or just want to play something different from the usual meta decks, I definitely recommend giving Mega Manectric a try. Now, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.